Greg Andrick here with another Business Freedom Conversation post. Okay, people, this is a really big one. Pay attention to this one. This one's crept up on everybody, and it's amazing. It's been around almost 2 years. But the Biden administration, in its first few months in office, when it controlled the executive branch, his party controlled the House of Representatives and the Senate. This is like the third or fourth major piece of legislation that we've had passed every time his party controls everything. So this is the Corporate Transparency Act. You, the small business owner, are going to have to register with the Financial Crimes Unit of the Treasury Department. I didn't get that wrong. This is how much they think about you and what they think about you. Now, it's called the Corporate Transparency Act. And owners and others. And, of course, they first coming out saying it's only 25% owners. That's not true. When you get into the whole thing, it's everybody. This starts January 1, so we're just a few days away from this starting. You have to have all this stuff filed by January 1 of 25. If you form a company after January 1, even the person that files the papers has to be disclosed. So the big thing about this is you're filing, if there's 23 exemptions, they're mostly for regulated governmental units and nonprofits. So if you are a regular business and a small one, so if you have stock on a stock exchange or you filed SEC reports, you don't have to do this. But if you're a small business, you have to register with the Financial Crimes Unit of the Treasury Department. And what do they want to know? It's called beneficial ownership interest. They want to know who owns the company. They also want to know who you deal with. So it's not just ownership interest. And guess what? If you are wrong, it's a $500 a day fine with no limit. So that's $183,000 a year. That's a big number. And the government doesn't get around to things till 2-3 years later. So they typically, like the IRS on audits, they come in on start sending all the notices around the 2.5-year mark to preserve the statute of limitations. So this is a very onerous, very serious thing, and they want. I have a video here. I'm not quite sure the music that the Treasury Department put to it came through when I recorded the video, but it's a bunch of slides that explains the whole thing, and it's a massive, massive reporting requirement. They want all of your personal information. Who you are, what your phone number is. They don't just want your social security number or your driver's license number. They want a picture of it with your picture on it. So they know exactly who's registering with the Financial Crimes Unit. Fascinating, isn't it? Now, they've set up a system because everybody's going berserk. This has kind of crept up on everybody that starting January 1, they've got to start registering all this stuff. You have until January 1, 25, but you're supposed to do it January 1 here at 24. It's not delinquent until January 1, 25. So they're setting up a system. And of course, the government doesn't have all this stuff ready to go, but they're setting up a system, get this, where you can create a number with Fincen. That's the nickname for the Financial Crimes Unit of the Treasury Department. And if you use that number, your personal information doesn't have to be on this report. They can just put your name and that number so that you don't have all these documents floating around with your name, address, phone number, a picture of your driver's license, passport, etc. It's a phenomenal thing. It sort of smacks like some other countries that are authoritarian, doesn't it? And you're going to have two numbers you got to worry about now. If you own a small business, it's going to be your Fincen number, and then, of course, your social, like you've always had to worry about. But what an amazing attitude towards American business. I think the president's party really showed what they think about businessmen. They want you to register as a criminal. So anyhow, this is Greg Andrick, the Business Freedom Conversation Post. Take a look at this video. It's by the Treasury Department. It shows you what it's about, but that's a really small piece of it. As we're getting into the details, it's huge, and they want to tie everything down. And it's also the reason why they want all payment processors to report everything over $600. So when you kind of look at this, they want to know who everybody is that owns all these entities, and they're going to want to know what all the money is that flows between them, $600 or more. Amazing, huh? Wow. So much for privacy and financial freedom. Anyhow, this is Greg Andrick, Business Freedom Conversation Post. I will catch you on the next one.